What do you mean the immigrants are getting a check and we're putting them up in places that what? You mean in the homeless people's face?
Right in the homeless people's faces.
Like,
right?
let us show you what we could have done.
Right.
Wow.
Crazy.
That's not okay as a society.
Joe Rogan has been bringing on some really great guests and having some great conversations on his podcast recently about woke culture and just about society in general and who is really controlling things and why are they doing certain things, like they'll talk about in this video with Katt Williams and Joe Rogan on the Joe Rogan Experience. This is really a great couple of clips that I'm going to show you right here. As you can see on the screen, it says, Katt Williams says the U.S. government adds fluoride to drinking water to shrink the pineal gland, and Joe Rogan says high levels of fluoride are dangerous and can lower your IQ. Also, Katt Williams calls out the U.S. government for violating American policies by giving away checks to immigrants and prioritizing housing for immigrants over homeless U.S. citizens. And in this, throughout this Joe Rogan Experience podcast, if you haven't watched the entire thing, and by the way, if you guys do enjoy content like this, then please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. There's only about 1.2% of you that are actually subscribed to this channel that watch it. I don't ask often, but I would appreciate it. It does help me out a lot. Let's get back to the content. Katt Williams, you can tell when talking to Joe Rogan, you can tell that Katt Williams, he's holding back a lot of the knowledge that he has. And I think these people like Katt Williams and the rest of the people out there, especially non-comedians, like you'll notice most of the people who are coming out recently and sharing their true thoughts on things like on Joe Rogan's podcast or just on other podcasts in general, like Dave Chappelle, Katt Williams, Joe Rogan himself. They're all comedians. They're all brands that don't rely on anyone else except for themselves. I guarantee you, outside of Dave Chappelle, Katt Williams, Joe Rogan, these guys, there's people who work for ESPN. There's actors in Hollywood who think these same things. You know, we see people like Mel Gibson and Jim Caviezel and these guys. They come out and they get shunned from Hollywood. They don't get cast in anything because the elites don't want you to be cast to have a voice whenever you think the way that Katt Williams, Dave Chappelle, Joe Rogan, Mel Gibson, Jim Caviezel, these guys think. But whenever you're someone like Katt Williams or Dave Chappelle and Joe Rogan, who they're comedians, they're brands within themselves, they can't really be canceled because they're not relying on anyone else to give them paychecks. They are the brand. So that's why people like Katt Williams are able to go on Joe Rogan's podcast and expose the things that are happening to the U.S. citizens, you know, the homeless in the U.S. and how they're bringing in immigrants and giving them housing and giving them checks while there's U.S. citizens who are homeless on the street, you know, veterans of the U.S. military who are homeless and can't work and they're not getting anything. Let's check out this clip here from Katt Williams and Joe Rogan. It's a great clip. And we also have one more clip from Joe Rogan. And, you know, his podcast recently has been on fire. Let's check out this one. It's been going pretty viral. Let's see what's happening with this Katt Williams and Joe Rogan clip.
Though there are those of us that know with the pineal gland what medicine says it's for and what that would mean. And so those people's job is to make sure that there's fluoride in all the water. So your pineal gland will shrivel.
Get calcified or whatever happens to it.
That's all.
The fluoride thing is wild. The fact that people aren't up in arms about them putting fluoride in your fucking drinking water is so crazy. It's so unnecessary.
It's brilliant on the other end, though.
Oh, yeah.
So what happened is the reason people have that relationship is they cleaned up the water the same time that they did that. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So people at that time just remember the water not being that great. And then all of a sudden the water is really great and it's got fluoride and it's good for your
teeth.
Right.
Despite the fact that there's direct correlations between high levels of fluoride in drinking water and low IQs. They think it lowers people's IQs. They think it's terrible for you. Fluoride's dangerous. You're not supposed to swallow.
There's a lot of people who are getting really mad at what Joe Rogan and Katt Williams are saying. And I'm going to show you those comments here in 1 second. But a lot of people are saying, oh, these are all just conspiracy theories with no, studies behind them, no factual evidence behind them. Let me know in the comments. Is what's being told to the U.S. citizens on why there's fluoride in the water, is it simply because it's good for your teeth? Like, are they truly injecting and just putting fluoride into the drinking water supply and saying that the reasoning behind it is that it's good for our teeth? Like, is that really the reasoning, or is there some other reason that the government and people who control the water supply and they kind of quality control the water supply, is there another reason why they're putting it in there? Let me know in the comments, because I truly don't know. If their only reasoning, like Joe Rogan is saying right here, if their only reasoning for putting fluoride in the water supply is they're saying it's good for our teeth, that's a huge red flag in my opinion. Like that's not something that the U.S. government or anyone who is under the U.S. government, their rule and taking direct orders from them, that's not something that they're worried about. They're not worried about our teeth health. Like, let's be real. There's an alternative motive there. So let's continue on with this Joe Rogan and Katt Williams clip here.
Toothpaste.
Look, whatever you're saying, people won't find out about that for 100 years, and I'm not even going to be 100. And most of these decisions are made like that.
Yeah. Well, most people are terribly unaware of the fluoride thing. And when you bring it up, they always say it's good for your teeth. Like, don't you brush your fucking teeth? Like, why do you need fluoride? Why do you need fluoride in your water? Are you sure that's why your teeth aren't falling out?
It's the fact that people don't understand that it's a toxic thing that you can't buy or purchase or handle.
It's in your drinking water. And it's not doing you any good other than supposedly it's good for your teeth.
Well, even if it was.
Yeah, even if it was. At what cost?
Even if it was great for your teeth and your bones, you drinking it wouldn't be the way you'd be trying to get that.
Yeah, if they really wanted to help our teeth, then go drop off some, fluoride-ridden toothpaste at everyone's door. Like, I don't think the way to help us better our teeth health would be just randomly inject fluoride without anybody being able to have a say in whether or not they want it in there to help our teeth. Like, let's be real, guys. They're not doing that to help our teeth.
No.
But
I don't even use fluoride toothpaste.
I'm not gonna let you take me where this conversation is going.
Where's it going?
Now that we went to fluoride, like, I'm
Where's it
gonna have
going?
to cut no further than that, because once you start having what they'll do, like, yeah, you understand everything's a campaign, and that's how you can approach everything, is find out
who's making money off this.
Where's the profit? How does this make sense? Why? Yeah.
Somewhere right now, the fluoride plants are going, what the fuck are they talking about? Somebody just introduced legislation to try to remove fluoride from some state from drinking water. Some people are waking up to it. They're realizing, like, this is so unnecessary and obviously not good.
Well, just understand that there are far too many places that don't have clean water. So.
The thing is, like, they're going to talk about Flint, Michigan. They're going to talk about all the places in the U.S. that don't have clean water. But even the places where you say they have, air quotes, clean water, there's still really bad things in the water. And it's not just fluoride. It's the, female birth control. Like, whenever they pee out those chemicals and then it goes into the water supply. And yeah, like, it's not going to taste like pee, but they don't filter out for the chemicals that they're peeing out. And that's, the famous Alex Jones clip where he's saying the water's turning the freaking frogs gay. It's like, yeah, it is. And it's also lowering testosterone levels of men and turning, making men want to become females and stuff like that. So it's not even just the fact that there's dirty water in Flint, Michigan, or some places in Ohio, and then the rest of the U.S. is like super clean. Even the places that they say is clean drinking water, clean tap water, it's not clean. Like, it's not good for you still. It's still really bad for you. So it's just wild, dude. It's the state of this country is nuts. And it's cool to me to watch people like Katt Williams get on large podcasts like Joe Rogan and truly be able to express this stuff. I think a lot more people are awake nowadays than we think, but it takes someone like Katt Williams or Dave Chappelle and someone who is their own brand to actually express these thoughts freely. So shout out to him for that.
So, you know, like,
Flint, Michigan. Still that water's fucked up. There's what about that place in Ohio where
hold on. And why? Because nobody wants it to be their fault, so nobody will take, like,
right.
You understand how?
Well, even the government. There's plenty of money for Ukraine.
Not even.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
how are we allowed to have a foreign policy when we are violating the policies here?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like what do you mean the immigrants are getting a check and we're putting them up in places that what? You mean in the homeless people's face?
Right in the homeless people's faces.
Like,
right?
Let us show you what we could have done.
Right.
Wow.
Crazy.
That's not okay as a society.
It's awesome to see people like Joe Rogan and Katt Williams wake up to these facts, you know, things that a lot of people would say are just right-wing talking points. It's not, though. It's just people who have their own thinking brain, who aren't just NPCs who haven't gotten a software update in a couple of years. It's more than just right-wing talking points. These are just common sense points that Katt Williams and Joe Rogan are making here. And we also have one more clip here from Joe Rogan, just because I think Joe has really been stepping up his game when it comes to this podcast recently. And this tweet here is from Benny Johnson. It says, wow, known agnostic Joe Rogan just had a chilling spiritual awakening live on his show. After describing moral decay of society, Joe Rogan breaks down and declares, we need Jesus. Joe then begs Jesus to return. We're living through a revival. So I just want to watch Joe Rogan here talk about Jesus. And, you know, Joe has been, like Benny Johnson says right here, a known agnostic for a while. And kind of like poo-pooed religion for a long time. You know, I've been watching Joe Rogan for a very long time, at least 5+ years. And I remember vividly him, you know, saying how he kind of thinks religion is silly, and, you know, Christianity and spirituality and all that stuff is kind of just silly. And now he's talking about Jesus on a podcast and saying that this is a great time for him to return. So let's check out this clip here from Joe Rogan's podcast.
But I think as time rolls on, people are going to understand the need to have some sort of divine structure to things, some sort of belief in the sanctity of love and of truth. And a lot of that comes from religion. A lot of people's moral compass and the guidelines that they've used to follow to live a just and righteous life has come from religion. And unfortunately, a lot of very intelligent people, they dismiss all of the positive aspects of religion because they think that the stories are mere superstitious fairy tales, that, you know, they have no place in this modern world, and, you know, we're inherently good and your ethics are based on your old moral compass and we all have one. And that's not necessarily true. We need Jesus. I think, for real. Like, if he came back now, it'd be great. Like, Jesus, if you're thinking about coming back
right now,
now's a good time.
Yeah, pretty soon. Yeah,
now's a good time.
You're not lying, Joe. And I just really thought that clip was interesting because, like I said, I've been watching Joe for a while, and that's not something that I ever thought I would see him say. I don't know if it's necessarily the chilling spiritual awakening that Benny Johnson was saying here, but it definitely was cool to see Joe Rogan say something like that. Let me know what you guys thought of this Katt Williams and Joe Rogan clip from the Joe Rogan Experience. The entire podcast is definitely worth the watch if you want to go check it out and you enjoyed this clip. Let me know in the comments how you're feeling about this whole situation. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I hope to see you guys on the next one.